on the topic of the Fiesta tax, I don't really want to sell one of my kidneys just yet. I spoke to the bank about remortgaging the house, and I think that's ridiculous for a tiny little piece of plastic. So they're going to have to wait as well. What's going on, guys? Now, if you've seen my last video, you'll know that we recently painted the front grills, bumper plastics and the rear diffuser as well. And today we've got a nice little mod that's going to transform the back of this car and make that rear diffuser look even better. Eagle-eyed viewers might have noticed that at the end of the last video, when I refitted the diffuser on this car, then I didn't quite clip it in all the way. And that's because it wasn't actually going back on the car, and I ended up removing it again to do this mod. So with the diffuser already off the car, let's get it inside on the workbench and we can fit what I've got planned for today's video. So what I've got here are some diffuser fins from a company called Racecraft. I found these on eBay, and I'll drop a link in the description so you can find these if you're looking for them yourself. Now, they give you a nice little printout here with some measurements of, where you need to fit them on your diffuser, and they also give you a little hole spacing guide so that you can, easily line up the holes. So I'm going to get the diffuser up on the bench, get that marked out, get those measured, get the holes drilled, and then fit the fins. So I'm not sure if you can see this, but just on the bottom here it gives you the measurements. So from each corner or each end you want to come in 9.5 inches for the first fin, and then 7 inches between the first and second, 8 inches between the second and third, 7 inches between the third and fourth, and then that should leave you with 9.5 inches between the fourth fin and the other end of the diffuser. The measurements do seem a little bit strange, and when you line it all up, it does look a bit weird off the car, but I think basically what it is, you have to leave enough room for the exhaust and everything. And it's got to be even. Like, I may well want to make another cutout for the exhaust on the other side one day, if we eventually go for a twin exit or something like that, because I think they look pretty cool, and that'd be nice to do in the future. But anyway, let's get these measured out and get these fins fitted. So like I said, they do give you a hole spacing guide. It's clearly marked top and bottom, and that just matches up with the back of the fins there. So I'm just going to use that at the points it states on this card you get with it. So the first one, it says to do at 9.5 inches. That's lined up there. I'm just going to use the screws that it came with just to mark that. So yeah, I'm just going to push it. It's just soft plastic, so I mean it should just push in fine. Okay, so yeah, I've just got a couple of little marks there in the diffuser, so I'm just going to like wiggle the screw in a little bit more, just so I can clearly see those marks when I come back to drill them in a second. So I'm going to move on and do the other three, and then we'll start drilling holes in this thing. Okay, that's the diffuser drilled. Now, although these do look really well made, like I'm super happy with them, I'm not 100% sure whether they're gonna fit, exactly. They're pretty damn solid, so I don't think there's any chance these are gonna flex. Now, the diffuser itself is quite a soft plastic, it is flexible, and it probably will kind of mold itself to the shape of this once I screw them down, but everyone's diffuser is going to be ever so slightly different as well, so I definitely don't think that there'd be any fault of these, if it doesn't fit 100% flush. But what I am going to do is just use some of this self-adhesive tape just on the back of these, just so it fills in any gaps. It's more for a visual thing, like it's not double-sided or anything, so it's only going to stick to like the fins as I put it on, but it's like I say, it's just kind of a visual thing, just in case there are any gaps or anything like that. It should just fill that in. Obviously now I've covered up the holes, so I'm going to get my little hole spacer and just use that to put some holes through this foam. It's worth mentioning, this foam doesn't actually come with these, it's just some stuff I had laying around, so if you were going to go down the same route as me, then you would have to go out and buy this, but you probably don't need to do it. I'm just being a little bit extra about it. So there we go, that's the fins fitted, and now it's time to mount this diffuser back on the car. But I mean, before we do that, just look at it. I think this is really going to transform the back of the car. I'm so excited. And it's such a simple thing to do as well. Like I said earlier in the video, if you're looking to pick these up for yourself, I'll drop a link in the description so you can easily find them. They were off eBay. And I think they're about 30, 38 pounds, something like that. Anyway, let's get this thing fitted. Okay, that's the bumper back on. And just look at the fins. I think they look great. I was worried they might look a bit tacky to start with, you know, trying to like replicate something that they're not. But I actually think they look really good. You know, I'm so happy with those, especially for the price as well. Like, you can't go wrong. Unfortunately, I'm still missing this piece of trim here. I did try and get hold of it before this video went live, but for what they are, they cost an absolute fortune, and I don't really want to sell one of my kidneys just yet. And while we're on the topic of the Fiesta tax, one of my centre caps fell off recently as well. I spoke to the bank about remortgaging the house, but they're not willing to lend me the money right now, so they're going to have to wait as well. I've seen those pieces of trim go for £40, £50, and sometimes even more than that. And I think that's ridiculous for a tiny little piece of plastic. I took some rough measurements of where that piece of trim fits, and then I took some measurements of the outside surface area of this car, and I worked out that that piece of trim takes up approximately 0.5%, and that's not even counting the interior, the engine, or any other parts of this car, just purely the outside surface area. Now, I paid £1,000 for this car, and 0.5% of that would be £5. But in all seriousness, if someone's got one of those that they're willing to sell for not stupid money, I'll be happy to give you £20, £25 for one. So if you've got one of those and you're willing to sell it to me for a decent price, hit me up on Instagram, the link's in the description. But even with that missing piece of trim, I still think this diffuser looks amazing now with these fins. I think they really make a difference to the back of this car. I wasn't quite sure if it would stand out enough with the car being black and, you know, the black diffuser and the black fins and everything. But that's all going to change very soon. If you've been watching the channel for a while, you'll know that when we hit 1,000 subscribers, we're going to be wrapping this car, and you can have a say in what colour that's going to be. Let me know in the comments what colour you want to see this car wrapped. And it goes without saying, but if you're not already subscribed, make sure you hit that subscribe button. That's going to do it for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.